past year has been quite an incredible experience for me. In fact, I think it's really been the highlight of my career. Fortunately, I had a lot of encouragement and support from a lot of my close friends that are past chairmen that have been here before me, and of the likes of, say, Janice Scott, Ray Tarnowski, Doug Thomas, Nick Pedno, and even James, but more specifically, Mike Henningsen, my cousin. He is the one that gave me the opportunity to do this and serve on the board and be chairman. So for all of them and others, I'm extremely grateful. I had a very memorable year, and probably the most memorable experience had to do with a trip that I was able to make to Lima, Peru for the Latin America Conference. I don't speak Spanish, so we had some live interpreters. After the conference, I was fortunate enough to be able to extend my stay. We went to Cusco to see how they buy their groceries. And they have the big open air markets. They don't really have a cold chain like we do. So it was quite a learning experience. When we arrived in Cusco, for those that know Corey, he likes to be in charge first, up in front. When he deboards a plane, he takes off up the jetway to get everything planned and organized. When Katie and I came off the plane behind him, and we saw him around the corner, and he was bent over gasping for air, we were a little concerned. Little did Corey know that we were at over 12,000 feet of elevation. It took the wind out of him. The rest of the week, Katie was taking the lead because Corey couldn't keep up. It's been an absolute pleasure being a co-chairman with Doug Harrison, and I'm very thankful for having the opportunity to spend the year to know him and his wife, Jody. The most exciting achievement that I've had as chairman and board member is seeing the improvement in the talent development and education. The other item that I'm very proud of is the creation of the Global Cold Chain Expo. I was fortunate enough to be on the inception of it, the creation of it, and see it grow and evolve over the years to create a educational continuation for our middle management has been terrific. My year as chairman started off on a very high note. I came in to the convention last year as the Chief Operating Officer for Henningsen. The next day, I was promoted to President of Henningsen Cold Storage. The day after that, I became Chairman of WFLO, so I was having quite a week. And I held true to my word. The day after that, I took my family to Disney World. I wouldn't have had the ability to take my time off if it weren't for the great support that I had from my team back home, our associates. And I especially like to recognize and thank my executive team of Tony and Chris, Todd and Eric. I'd also like to thank my family. It's very special this trip as well, because it's the first time my parents have ever attended anything related to my work or the sales association, so I'm very thankful that they were able to be here. My daughters, they've been fortunate enough to join me a number of times on a number of trips. And lastly, I'd like to thank my wife, TK. The support she's given me, taking on these added roles as president and chairman, the time away from home, has been phenomenal. So for that, I'm very thankful. Thank you, dear. David O'Brien and Nick Pedno, I appreciate you both for setting the table for Doug and myself. And Nick, the one thing I learned from you is to never let you take a photo. Your timing's horrible, and all you do is you sneak in a selfie of yourself when no one else is paying attention. To you, Don and Andy, congratulations. This is a great opportunity for you. If you ever need anything, I'm just a phone call away. Most of all, just enjoy the ride.
It was my pleasure to be your chair of the IARW this year, and I thank you very much for the vote of confidence in nominating me to that position. I think it was an exciting year for the organization. Certainly for myself personally, I got to meet our members in Brazil. Also, we are so fortunate to be supported by a great staff inside the GCCA. They are a very small, committed team who get things accomplished in a dramatic way. Earlier in 2018, we had an opportunity to host a board retreat to Whistler, British Columbia. What I found really interesting was we went out for a day on the luge track at the Olympic Village, and everyone got a chance to get in a luge And true to this organization, I actually think most individuals were more interested in the refrigeration system at the luge than they were necessarily in getting in the luge. But again, it was a great meeting, and it was great to be able to show off a different part of North America to many people who have never experienced Whistler. GCCA really is a member-led organization, and the organization exists because of the members. In my mind, as I think about the challenges and the issues we're dealing with in our businesses in the United States, in Canada, now having spent time in Europe, having spent time in Brazil, 75% of those challenges are the same. Yes, every country is different. Yes, every country has its own nuances. That's why it's really important that we have those local in-country directors that are able to work with our national team in Washington, but be able to bring local content to the individual countries or continents. I would like to thank many people for their support throughout the year. I go back though to a phone call I had from Doug Thomas a few years ago. Doug said to me, "Doug, we'd like you to join the board as treasurer. It won't take much time. It'll be easy. You're well supported, and it's really only a role as treasurer." Well, at the time, I didn't know that I was signing up to be chair of the board in a number of years. So Doug, that was a great piece of work on your part, and I appreciate that. Nick and David, you set us up and you set me up well for my role as chair of IARW, and I know Paul feels the same way. Corey, you're a consummate professional in terms of not only your knowledge of this industry, but your knowledge of association management. And you really bring that to the table in order to drive the most value for our members in GCCA. Paul and TK, it's been great getting to know you over the year. Jody and I have thoroughly enjoyed that. Paul, it's been great working with you as a chair of IARW and you being chair of WFLO. It's been a really, really easy year in terms of our alignment of thoughts and goals and the learnings that I've got from you. And finally, a couple of other people, to my wife Jody, who many of you have gotten to know. Jody, as always, you support me and you give me my strength. There's been a lot of time involved in GCCA. You've been at a number of the meetings, and as always, love you dearly. 30 plus years of great family relationship. Trevor, our son, who is 27 now, graduated as a doctor, and Brooke, our daughter, who's just turned 25 and is finishing her master's. Finally, I'd like to thank all the team members of VersaGold. 5.5 years with VersaGold. Phenomenal, the progress, the focus, the improvement in that organization, the teamwork that I saw. To Andy and Don, both of you are going to be really excited coming into the role of chair of WFLO and IARW, and I know you're both going to do phenomenally well for the organization. I've really enjoyed my 6 years with the organization, and really thank all of you for welcoming Jody and I, and thank you for the opportunity to serve you over the last year. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.